Hey guys, you're in the machine, and you're upside down. Headstand. It's a fun pose to play with lots of benefits, but an easy one to screw up. We're going to focus on 4 key parts today to keep you upside down. Let's go. Okay, first things first. If you have a bad neck or high blood pressure or any kind of heart trouble, this is probably not the pose for you. If you're up for it, we're going to talk about the nature of the palms on the head, the position of the elbows, the angle of the neck, and the stacking of the hips above the shoulders. Let's start with the grip on the back of the head. It's going to be interlaced and behind, kind of like you're doing like an old-fashioned sit-up, but we're going to make a few adjustments. First, we're not tightening it up as far as it goes because that makes for minimal space and minimal contact on the back of the head. So we actually want to loosen that grip just a little bit so there's like more surface area. Then the thumbs we want up so they can help with the grips, and the pinkies we don't want crossed. If you have them like this, you're going to be smushing one with the other. So just take the bottom one and pull it in, nice and easy. Secondly, it's not completely contoured. If I use this ball, I don't want my palm completely wrapped behind the head because that doesn't help with any sort of a brace forward. I actually push on the head with the top, with the thumb side, and then the back, the bottom rather, the pinky is kind of pushing into the mat to help stabilize us. So rather than have this connection where it could roll over, we have this open a little bit where it can help sort of give us a little bit of a kickstand. Secondly, position of the elbows. If they're really close together, I have good stability front to back, but none side to side. And if they're really, really wide, I have good side to side stability, but none front to back. So we're going to aim to keep them about shoulder width or so. Secondly, this is important. It's a headstand, top of the headstand, not back of the headstand or forehead stand. Imagine being perfectly upright with a level chin and the mat is right there like where your soft spot would be if you were a baby. Forward with your forehead onto the mat is going to put pressure on your neck you don't want, and pressure on the back of the head is just probably going to cause you to roll out. So we want to be completely upright. Most important, if you want to stay in the headstand, you need your shoulders to be below your hips. If your hips are at all in front or in back or to either side of your shoulders, you're going to topple over. Just like when you stand upright, you don't lean your shoulders away from your hips. You keep them above so it's effortless. We're just going to be upside down so our hips are above our shoulders. So getting into the pose can be tricky. I can always kind of pike and lift myself up. That looks cool, but it requires me to shift some weight forward with my butt to even out the weight of my legs. So here's what I mean. I find the grip that I want, set my head down, straighten my legs, and I start to lean. As you can see, I'm sending some of my weight in the hips toward the front of the room to even out the weight of the legs. And then as I lift the legs up and they get closer to my center, I bring those hips and that big butt back into the middle. And here I am in a cool headstand. That's not available to everybody, so it's okay to kind of walk your way up and do one leg at a time. So I find my grip just where I want. I put my elbows where they belong, and then maybe one at a time, I bend both knees in close to my body so there's not a lot of weight behind me, and then I lift one up, pointing that toe toward the front, and then the other one meets it. Maybe while I'm practicing, I can kind of keep my feet together, but as I get more and more comfortable, I straighten the legs, and you can see I'm trying to have my hips more or less above my shoulders. If they get too far in any direction, not only am I working my butt off, but eventually I'm going to topple over. The bulk of your weight is carried with your elbows and your hands, not really your neck, maybe like 70-30 or even 80-20. To do this, we have to push with our shoulders. So if you find yourself in this pose and you're completely jammed up with all the weight in your neck and your shoulders are tight like this, it's bad news. You want to start bringing the scapula together and driving the shoulders up and away from the ears, almost like you're pushing with the elbows, and the weight of the body is not completely collapsing into the cervical spine. Not an easy posture, but if you focus on a straight spine with your head flat on the mat, the proper positioning of the hands, the proper distance of the elbows, and then slowly finding a way to stack your hips above your shoulders, you're going to find success. One little tip to work your way up. Once you're in place, you don't have to completely go upside down. You can do this little pike and kind of practice pushing into the mat with those elbows, and then maybe take one foot off at a time until you're ready. Swinging up is doable. It just requires a little timing to make sure you don't go all the way over the top. It's a fun pose, fits in some spots during your vinyasa, and it really impresses people on Instagram. You can do it.
But the whole point of the machine is to relieve you of that suffering.